What's up, everybody? Welcome back to My Twisted Life of TV. I am Poetry. You are here for a recap and review. No, you're not. You're here for a summary of the Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons. The last, is it 3 episodes I didn't review? And I had to put some lotion on my legs because I was listening to my video yesterday. And every time I rub my thighs, it sounded like sandpaper. So that's what I'm doing right now, y'all. I'm resting my legs with some lotion. Okay, so, and it's not my lotion. Like, I know I started making lotion for my business. And I think my lotion is really silky. And this one is not so much. But anywho, I mean, it's silky, but not, it doesn't moisturize as long. But anywho, child. So, I almost gave up on the Game of Thrones, as you all know. And when it came to episode 5 and 6, they seemed to really glamorize the sexual relationship with Rhaenyra and her uncle. And that bothered me to my core. I see a lot of viewers on different channels, different blogs, different reviewers, all justifying it. This is what they did in this era. This is what they did in this era. This is what the Targaryens did. So they think that we should still accept it as a viewer. And I'm like, no. And if you really pay attention to everything that's going on the show itself, the people didn't accept it either. Even though we knew the Targaryens did this, the people as a whole, the people as a general, still found it taboo. Especially when it was dealing with a child. Okay? And in episode 7, I really was like, I'm not going to finish this show. When I watched episode 7, because the whole entire episode seemed to glamorize the relationship between Rhaenyra and her Uncle Daemon. Right down to them getting married and having babies. You know what I'm saying? We knew it happened, but still, no, that was not something that was smiled upon. The king was ready to cut off somebody's head just for making an accusation that Rhaenyra and her uncle had been together. So no, it wasn't as acceptable as some people who watch this time period, this fantasy time period, and try to push that mentality that having an ancestral relationship is okay because of the times. It's not, and I don't think it has ever truly been. So, anywho, one thing that I am truly missing from this story are the puzzle pieces. Okay? The scenes that they show us, I believe, are some great scenes. I love the acting in it. I love the action in it. But what I'm still missing is the connecting pieces of how we get from here to there. And it seems like every episode in season 1, they skipped a multitude of years to get to this episode. So there's every single episode, there's years in between the episodes. So there's a lot of the backstory that we're missing, and we're getting it in a fast-paced snippet to explain how we got from this point to that point. Like, we come back and Corlys is gone. Been gone 6 years. Like, what? How did that happen? Okay, that time skip is just too grand for me. And it was like they filmed this season as if they did not expect to have a second season. So let's go ahead and cram it all in right now. We're cramming it all in, but we're taking away key moments and key points in the episode. So I wasn't like really sold on it. I really wasn't. And I think earlier, like even with Leanna, like Anna. I can never pronounce the kid's name. Like Anna, Leona, Leonella. Corliss's daughter. Her marrying Damon and having babies with him, and her babies growing up to be damn near the same ages, if not older, than Rhaenyra's kids. I was like, they don't match either. They don't match either. And the whole transition from when Rhaenyra went from, of course, sleeping with oh boy, what is his name? Sir Cole, to sleeping with the other dude, Strong. Like, we missed so much in the storyline to get us to that point. The only thing that really brought us there was that she had 2 black hair babies, which his gene was so much more stronger, which fucked me up. His dream was so much stronger that they had no Targaryen features, none. It threw me. It threw me. Now, I know that being black is a dominant gene. I know the black gene is a dominant gene. So that could explain a lot why Corlys, his kids, came out looking black, biracial. And their babies that the daughter had with Damon came out looking black. But I think they would have looked more white because, she's biracial and he's fully white, but they still had black looking babies. So, but I kind of understand because the black gene is a dominant gene, you know what I'm saying? But Rhaenyra to have none, it didn't make sense to me, okay? But I know that was the point to tell the story of why these kids didn't look like their mother and or father. Who was the damn father? The father was Leonidas. What the fuck was the father's name? Corlys' son. Those babies should have came out half black, based off of the fact that his sister's kids came out still looking half black because of the black dominant recessive gene. Everybody knew that these wasn't his damn kids. Only who seemed to be in disbelief was the king. Like I said, he was a faulty king to me. He was a failed king. He was trying to be too kind. Even when he didn't believe it, he pretended that he did. He tried to sell it to everybody else. And he ruled in that disbelief. He ruled in that lie like it was the truth. That's what irritated me so much about the king. Oh my God, he was. And then we had to watch him die this whole season. He spent 57 years dying. By the end, his whole freaking face was falling out. He had a hole right here. You could see the scale, the bone in his face. What, somebody said that they thought he had leukemia? Is that what they said? I read it in the comment section somewhere that somebody said he had leukemia. He was getting all them ulcers in his face. And I was like, leukemia give you ulcers like that? Anybody know? Because I didn't research. But I knew that having diabetes could do that to you. But you wouldn't live that dang on long with it. You wouldn't live that dang on long with it. The king ruled forever. His hair was falling out. He looked like the fucking crib keeper. Oh. And then Allison. I did enjoy the development of Allison's story. She became someone I loved to hate. However, I think the transition at the end of the season went too fast. She leaned too much into Rhaenyra's past friendship that they had, and she switched the game too quickly. I do like the fact that she put her daddy back as the right hand when the king went down, and that allowed Hightower to run amok as he did. And I think that a lot more of the people would have been on his side than actually went to go help Rhaenyra. So The fact that Rhaenyra was out in Driftmark when her daddy died. Was she in Driftmark? No, she was in Dragonstone when her daddy died, giving birth to another baby. And her crown was stolen from her in such a fashion. Like, oh, why they make Aegon? It was, I think that, again, we missed so much of how she rose up and decided to claim her throne. I think we missed so much of that story in the way in which they showed it. The way that Aegon became king was very synonymous to the way that Joffrey became king in the original series. It had a lot of similarities, put it that way. In addition to his demeanor, he didn't want to be king. And then once the people started cheering and screaming his name, he stepped into his power. You could see it. It was like a physical change in his body. Like, oh shit, this is where I want to be. He was a drunk, like Lord Tyrion was supposed to be. He encompassed so many different, a whore too, let's say that as well. He was, yeah. And I was finna say something else, but that didn't match. I was finna say he also was the one that was willing to sleep with his sister, but that wasn't true. That was the other brother that was willing to sleep with his sister. He had more of Joffrey's characteristics from the time he was a child. That whole fight that he had with Jace and the girls and the other little brother, I forgot his name. I really wish that had went differently. I'm glad that Jace was able to cut that motherfucker from Hooter to Tooter and gave him his scar. But he really was acting like Daemon, you know, who acted like Joffrey to me. You know what I'm saying? It was so many similarities. It was almost like they were rewriting. I was watching the same thing as the original season, just with different people in different places. It was basically saying that everything that happened in the original show, all these characteristics that we saw in these characters, all came from the Targaryen family, and that's what it seemed like to me. If I'm not mistaken, because Rhaenyra's baby died, I remember that. Corlys came back to help Rhaenyra, and I don't know if they're going to do this time jump, but Corlys actually helped her for many years to come into the throne. What else am I missing? The death of Laenor. The staged death of Laenor, because if anybody believed that Laenor was dead, even during that whole fight scene, and when all of a sudden the guards come in and then there's a burnt body ashed up on the ground, if anybody thought that was him and then was shocked in the end when they saw him float away on the boat with no locks with his lover, if anybody believed that was going to happen anything differently, y'all wasn't paying attention. As Daemon had clearly said, we need to make sure that we have a lot of people watching. There need to be witnesses. When somebody says that, they are staging an event. So the whole fight, the whole death of the son was staged. And I was like, is he going to come back? Is he going to pop up one day? You know what I'm saying? But that allowed her to marry her uncle and have a bunch of babies with the uncle. Anywho, so by the end though, it became more of a battle of the children, and It was the fight of the children that leads to this great war. So, the young babe, whose name I can't remember, was sent off on a dragon. A dragon he could barely ride. Okay, he was sent off on a dragon to send word over to who the hell is it? I cannot remember, y'all. The king who basically the Lannisters married in the original series, the black hair, they're cousins. He was the cousin. Well, their blood cousin had already got there, and he didn't give a damn what Rhaenyra had said. He didn't like to be challenged, and told that he was supposed to stay loyal to her because he said he was going to be loyal. Because his daddy said he was going to be loyal, not him, but his daddy. Like he holding tight to the promises of his father. He wasn't finna do all that. What was their name? Oh my goodness, I can't think of their names. But y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so now there was going to be he wanted to kick his ass, for coming there and cutting his face up with this, that, and the third, some shit like that. Well, he had stole their mama dragon, or the girl's mama's dragon, when she died, and trained the dragon to be his own. So he got this big ass adult dragon going up against this baby dragon and this baby kid. You know what I'm saying? They aged him so fucking fast that I thought he was the same actor that was playing Damon at first. And he was still a kid. They was not that far apart in age. They weren't that far apart in age. That now you got this seemingly young adult up against this little child, this pre-T. They wasn't that far apart in age. They were only apart a couple years in age each. Okay, but they really aged one person and didn't really age the other. And he having this fight up on this dragon, and baby, that dragon got cooked, fried, laid to the side. It was just, who says that? Or fucking denied, but fried down, laid to the side. It's her. Yeah, that dragon got cooked, and so did the baby. And of course, this is going to be the beginning of the war, and that's what I want to see. I want to see the fight scenes. We didn't really get to see Corlys fighting. Corlys got stabbed up in the neck. They thought he was going to die. He was gone 6 years, and we got to see none of that battle. Not a single battle. Every time that Rhaenyra comes into it with Hightower, it's just a conversation. I need some fighting. This is supposed to be the downfall of the Targaryens. How they got to, Khaleesi, trying to get her kingdoms back. This is what this is supposed to be. And we don't get to see nothing but the king ruling through emotion and lies. We don't get to see nothing but Rhaenyra sleeping with her damn uncle. We don't get to see nothing but the kids whooping each other's ass. But we don't see any real battle or engagement outside of these walls. I need to see that. However, by the time it got to episode 10, I was back in. I was back sold because they had got so much off of the love story of Rhaenyra and her damn uncle. They got to where Alicent was, conniving and scheming and everything. Like I said, I just didn't like the 180 turn that she did at the end to try to support Rhaenyra. Like, make up your fucking mind, girl. You've been acting a fool this whole doggone time, all these years. And now at the end, you're like, oh, that's right, we were friends. I don't think she would do that to me. She's supposed to rightfully be queen. And why they didn't kill, the woulda, shoulda, coulda been queen. Why they didn't kill her and allow her to go back and join forces with Rhaenyra, who she didn't want to join forces with. She only did because her husband wanted her to, because she think Rhaenyra is responsible for her son dying. And I'm thinking, you ain't gonna even tell them the truth. You ain't gonna even tell them the truth. They knew their son was gay. They knew it. Now all of a sudden his mans and them gone too. Nobody's questioned why the fuck he left. Okay. So, yeah, the season ended. The season ended, child. And by the time it got to the end, I was back in. Okay, I was able to get past, the whole incestuous scenes to get to the real infighting, the real beginning to the end, the real beginning to the downfall. And it was weird how when Allison took the dream of the king to mean that she was supposed to put Aegon in charge. It's like he never told her that dream before, that was a different Aegon that he was talking about. It wasn't about her son. When he said that Aegon's dream, she's like, oh, my son, Aegon. No, it wasn't your son. But yeah, it's interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. Next season, because they do already have a second season. They had a second season already lined up, I think, by the second or third episode. So I am looking forward to it, and I really, really hope we don't get these massive time jumps like we did in the first season. I really hope that they don't focus more on the incestuous love stories, even though this is what the Targaryen family was about, I know, but they focus too much on it. That's my point. They focus too much, and it's a turnoff. It's not only a turnoff, it's a triggering point for myself and a lot of other people. It's not good TV to me to glamorize that shit. Even with Jon Snow and Khaleesi, that disturbed my soul too. And they didn't even know, and they was adults. They found out after the fact. and they smashed, you know what I'm saying? But this one, like, they made it seem like y'all shouldn't, like, it should not be a bad thing. It's not Damon's fault. This was all Rhaenyra's doing. She came to him, she seduced him, she was primed, she was groomed all her fucking childhood by this man, by this predator. Okay, so now that when she gets into adulthood, she's made to feel like, oh, I'm the one that's making the moves. I'm the one that's making the choice to sleep with him and be with him. I'm the one that came up with the idea to let's get married. He like, to me? Yeah, see that bullshit right there? Oh, that bullshit right there. But that's George R.R. Martin. That's how he does it. So anywho, I am going to be back, and we're going to finish. We're going to do it up next season, and hopefully I can make it through the whole season. Like I said, for those of you who are still here watching and waiting on these summaries and these recaps, I appreciate you hanging around, sticking with me. I appreciate you not spoiling the season for me by putting like tidbits out there, and you know how I be feeling, and I got to watch and enjoy it for myself. But yeah, things are a little different for me now. You see, I have moved. I just got to get some furniture in the house and everything, and get my little studio set up in the other room, and we'll be ready to go. So thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for watching. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. I am coming back with videos. I may even pick up The Last of Us. I'm not sure yet. Because I'm not sure. But I'll figure it out. Talk to y'all again later. Peace.